Hi, I remember reading of someone who came out of one of those Nazi concentration camps where people were gassed to death. Her father died in one of those camps, her sister died, but when she came out, she said, "There's no pit so deep that God is not deeper still." And her testimony was that even in the midst of that horrendous situation, they knew God was with them in that situation. And that's an incredible thing, isn't it? Could I just take you back to another situation where we struggle to deal with the violence and the hatred of it? This was written about Jesus 700 years before he was born. But this is what the writer says about him. He says, "Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we thought him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed." It goes on and it says this: "All we like sheep have gone astray. We've turned everyone to his own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all." Those statements there are talking about what Jesus did for us on the cross. Now, we've recently thought about Easter again, and we thought about how Jesus suffered and died on a cross in the most horrific manner. And we might even ask the question, well, what good was that? Can anything good come out of that evil? And what we find in these statements that were written 700 years before it happened, and in the statements that have been made since, we discover that out of that horrendous situation of evil, great good came. And the writer here is telling us about those. And he's saying, if we don't get anything else from this, he's saying, look, he's doing it for someone else. This wasn't because he had done anything wrong, but he was doing it on behalf of others who had done the wrong. And that is the great message from this little passage. It's the great message of Easter, that God can bring good out of evil. God can bring a situation of good out of a horrendous situation that you think, well, there's nothing good can come from that. And through the death of Jesus Christ, we can find peace with God. We can find joy in God. We can find forgiveness for every wrong thing we've ever done. And we're all in the same boat, aren't we? There's not one of us can say we've lived a perfect life. Not one of us has got a clear conscience about everything we've ever done. But this is saying, look, through the evil that happened to Jesus, we can find God's love, God's peace, God's forgiveness, God's care for us. I encourage you to look at these things for yourself, perhaps with a fresh light, and see that out of the darkness came light. And maybe out of whatever situation we're going through at the moment, we can see the goodness of God. Thank you for listening. May God bless you.